Alrighty, hey, welcome everybody on YouTube, Discord, and wherever else you guys are at. My name is Andy Redding. I'm the lead here at ergogames.io, and we are being joined by a few people from. Well, first off, my secondary developer here is Chris Redding, my brother. He's about 2,000 miles away from me, but we're working together. And then we have our friends over at ErgoPad. We have James over here. We have Alexis, and we have Marty. So thank you all for being here on the stream today. Uh, just to let you guys know, just to put it out there right now, we're not going to be airdropping any tokens on this stream. So if you're here just for free tokens, we're not going to be doing that. I know if you've been on that Discord server or the Telegram server, it is a freaking mess right now, and we are planning to mow down as many bots and snipers as we can because we had about 2,000 people join in this morning, and it's just a freaking mess. So, thank you if you're actually here for Ergo Games and not just an airdrop. We will be giving out 3 NFTs from. We're gonna do 2 from our Twitter questions that came in the last few days, and then we are going to also give out a NFT on stream here from a question. So I am looking at the chat. So if you guys have any questions, you can always throw it in chat. You might also hear my child screaming because he's downstairs with my wife, and you might hear my dog barking because he barks at every little noise that happens. So please ignore them. Otherwise, welcome. Again, my name is Andy with ErgoGames.io. Super happy to be here with all of y'all today. And yeah, I'll be taking as many questions as possible on YouTube, but I guess I'm just gonna start off with the stuff that we got on Twitter. So, but if you have any questions, just throw it in the YouTube chat, and I'll answer as many as I can. I guess before we start too, Marty, do you have anything you want to put out?
What we can expect, and then later on we can jump on the questions. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they said the sound is off, so I think I fixed it. I think they were only able to hear me. So, Marty,
Can you guys hear me now?
yeah, I think they can hear you now. I turned up my desktop audio. That was the issue.
Should I maybe I'll run through it really quick again.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say, hey, I'm Marty from ErgoPad. Uh, we're launching the IDO for ergogames.io, and we're here to answer any questions that relate to the IDO, the launch. If you want to ask about staking ErgoPad, things like that, we can speak to that kind of thing. So any questions you have for these Ergo Games guys, any questions you have for us, we're happy to help.
Yep. And Alexis, do you wanna say what you just said a minute ago there?
Yeah, so hi, my name is Alexis and I'm the marketing lead of ErgoPad. I just wanted to say that maybe we can give a quick update about the recent progress regarding Ergo Games and ErgoPad. Something like that the whitelisting form is live for the stake round, and that you can whitelist your wallet now for the stake round on ErgoPad. And yeah, I'm very excited to be here.
Awesome. James, you got anything for us?
No, I think that covered it pretty well. Thanks for that, Alexis. So, yeah, I'm James. I also work with Alexis at ErgoPad and the marketing team. So, happy to be part of this and answer any questions you guys have.
Sweet. All right, well, I'm just gonna go down some of these questions here and on Twitter, and if you guys have any questions, go ahead and throw it in chat. So I'm gonna just use my phone here, so excuse me for a minute. So let's give out our first NFT. Actually, let's give out our first NFT to one of our questions on Twitter here. So I'm actually gonna give it out to let's see which one had a good question. Actually, Crypto Boy here had a really good question at the very beginning. So I'm just gonna give him one of our NFTs, and I'm actually gonna throw him one of our Ergoat NFTs that have Generation 1 sold out a few weeks ago. So Crypto Boy asks, according to the roadmap for Ergo Games, we're planning to launch a series of game development education courses in Q4. How can we enroll for the course, and are there scholarships available, or do we have to pay a fee? What is the course duration? So awesome question. Thank you for that. First off, there's going to be no cost for these courses. Um, Everything we do educationally first off, a little bit of background about myself. I've been in public education for about 7 years, teaching everything from kindergarten up to 12th grade, so the whole gambit of students. And so education for me is a huge, just large part of my life, and I think it's really important. And I think that also works with Ergo as well. I think most education should be totally free, and so that's what we're going to be imparting. All our game education is going to be completely free. There's always, if you want to donate to Ergo Games, we have an Ergo Games donation button on our website, but it's completely non-mandatory. That's just there to help support our web development and just pay for some of those fees. That will be a lot less of an issue after the IDO, but that was just there for prior to that. So again, all our education courses are going to be free. We're going to have about 4 different types of education courses, for anywhere from extremely beginner to advanced. And what we're going to do with the extreme beginners and beginners is that will be a very straightforward, very linear type of classroom where we together work on creating a program, creating a game together. And it's going to be at about a week-long course. Um, with about an hour to 2 hour classes every day or every other day. And this is kind of going to be this is going to change too with public sentiment. If we see that people can't do it every day, or if it only works on weekends, we're going to try to make that work for other people. Um, as the courses get a little bit more advanced, we're going to be bringing in some help with the technical side of more advanced programming, as well as it's going to become more of a discussion rather than a straightforward linear class. People will be able to build their own programs, and it will be more of like a game jam where we come out with a product. Everybody comes out with a little bit different product at the end of the course. So awesome, Crypto Boy. I'm just going to write your name down so I can remember to send your NFT to you. All right. And hey guys, ErgoPad devs, feel free to jump in here, and Chris, feel free to jump in if I miss something, or if you guys have anything else to put out. All right, I'm just gonna keep going down the list here. I guess we got some questions down YouTube here. So G-Man asks, how does blockchain technology benefit the Ergo Games platform? So that's a great question. So the nice thing about Ergo right now is that it is just in constant development. They're just building, and the secondary part of that is the development is really coming from the community. There's a lot of official Ergo stuff happening, but the community is what is driving the force behind building Ergo up together. Using blockchain technology inherently doesn't do anything for games if you just have it there as an aside, but what we're trying to do is really integrate utility into everything game related. So if we're talking about fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens, we want to make sure that anything being utilized on the blockchain is an actual utility within video games on Ergo Games. An example of that would be, for instance, if a game has a bunch of assets like weapons or armor, things like that, and they can be NFTs, those should actually be NFTs that go onto people's wallets. People should be able to own those NFTs. And so when they do sell them, when they use them in game, they're being utilized as an NFT and not just a something that's touting to be on the blockchain when it, in essence, doesn't really have anything to do with the blockchain. So, cool question. Let's see. Dom F asks, what benefits will Ergo Games tokens holders get long-term governance, voting, exclusive updates on the new game launches? Okay, yeah. So, with as far as the governance token goes, and that's the token that we are IDOing, there will be a number of different benefits, including voting. So, one thing we want to make sure to do is involve the community as much as possible. We want to make sure that public sentiment is on our side when it comes to putting games out and allowing other people to put games on our interface. And so here's a really clear and good example. Right now, Night Owl is coming out with their alphas and betas, and they're going to be coming out with a full-fledged casino. And that's going to be one of the first things we ask the community, like, hey, do we consider a casino like an Ergo game? Like, is that something that we want to be on our platform, or is that more of a, you know, different type of gaming, something that doesn't relate to Ergo games? And that's something that like I've been thinking about that I could go totally either way, but I think that's something that I'd like the community to discuss about and then in the end vote with. So that's definitely one of the parts of the fungible token, the governance token that people will have the voting rights. Another one is just getting exclusive beta and alpha access into various games. By holding governance tokens, you're guaranteed to get, at a certain point, at a certain amount of tokens, you're guaranteed to get into betas and alphas for the official games that we put out. Also with what's called Proof of Concept Plus, which will be our kind of our mini games that are not necessarily marketable to a larger whole, but it's going to be kind of just tests, and that's why we call it Proof of Concept. And I can go over that a little bit more in detail later on, but the tokens are going to get people access into our betas and alphas, and it's also going to give you airdrops into the tokens of subsidiary projects that either we come out with or partner up with. So, for instance, with Ergo's, our Screaming Ergo game, which is called Digigoat, will later on have its own token, and anybody who has the Ergo Games token will be airdropped some of that token to be able to play in game. So cool. Great question. Let's see. Ergo Benjamin asks, can we expect to see Nautilus wallet integration with all or at least most of the games on Ergo Games? So I can definitely speak for the our official Ergo games, and the answer is yes. I am absolutely floored by Nautilus Wallet. I cannot believe that they just jumped in and I don't know how quickly. It felt like a week or two. They became the main wallet, the main just absolute pinnacle of how we work with the Ergo blockchain as far as fungible tokens and non-fungible tokens. So I'm absolutely floored by their team and am looking forward to integrating them into everything that we do, including our website. So absolutely, thanks.
Can I
Yeah, go ahead.
mention something about that? Yeah, so our team, our devs actually work very closely with the creator of Nautilus Wallet. Um, uh, as we've been building some of our dApps, like the staking platform and the new vesting contracts and things like that, we've encountered various bugs that the dApp connector on Nautilus had, and so it's just been an iterative process over time. And you know, that team is excellent. So I imagine, like, as the Ergo Games team starts building what they're working on, Nautilus will just continue to evolve with them. So it's going to be a great collaboration. When they first made Nautilus, basically the issue was Yoroi wasn't working for anybody, and the team was just like, okay, well, we need something because, you know, we all have this vision for Ergo that it can be like a top 10 chain. It can do everything that Ethereum does, but without a useful wallet, what's the point, right? Like nobody could even access any of those functions. So yeah, so we're definitely going to evolve in the coming months with alongside the Nautilus team, for sure, for all of us.
Yeah, super impressed with their team. And I mean, when I first came to Ergo about a year ago, um, using the Yoroi wallet was very frustrating, and there were just so many little aspects of it that, like, as a new person in Ergo, like, it made me not want to be part of the ecosystem because it was so difficult just to do the most simplest things that I was used to on, say, the Binance Smart Chain or on ERC20. Um, so just by having entity or organization that has a working product that is just so streamlined is going to make not only our aspect of gaming work well, but just Ergo as a whole work well. So that's very cool. All right, let's see. There's some more questions on here. I'm just trying to look through them because I didn't see them before. Can I become an Ergo game developer with little no developing background? Joni asks that. Yeah, so Joni, thanks for the question. Absolutely. So that's part of the reason we are starting this education course in quarter 4 of this year is because we want to make sure that the Ergo gaming ecosystem grows no matter what level you're at. And so when I started programming, it was like fourth grade, third grade, many, many years ago, and I programmed on a old scripting program called HyperCard. I don't know if anybody's ever played that or used that. HyperCard was what was used to build Myst and Riven, those old, very old games for the Macintosh. And but it was back then that I started doing all this and got that passion. But I completely understand um, where people are coming from with like no experience because I took a 10, 15-year break from even touching a computer to program, and when I came back, and it was a very I had to really restart my brain, and all these links that you create when programming were deteriorated. So that being said, if you are a brand new developer or somebody who wants to learn to program, we are going to have right now it's called the Greenhorn program, which is going to be an absolute basics class for programming and integrating Ergo blockchain into said programming. So we look forward to that, and it's going to be completely free. I'm not sure the size of classes yet or exactly the dates yet, but as we get closer to quarter 4, we'll be putting out a little bit more information. So, Joni, thanks for that question, and we would love to have you once we start that program.
I got one in Twitter if you want me to read it out.
Yeah, go ahead.
This comes from Fidgety Rat in Twitter.
Yeah.
In blockchain gaming, it's often the case where a game is designed around the chain and not the other way. Since the Ergo community is so innovative and dedicated, what can we do to help ensure the games we design are not just thrown together simply to say it's a blockchain game?
Yeah, that's a great question, and Fidgety Rat is one of our Ergots community members. Yeah, that's a great question because the part of the reason we started this too is we saw so many games, and I played blockchain games where literally they would go from each token being worth a cent to like $20, and then it would dive back to zero because a lot of these games don't use good tokenomics. But the bigger thing is they don't build a good game, and that's what Fidgety Rat is talking about. These people that just come out with these, you know, not even good for like a mobile game, just an absolute trash, pretty much. Rock paper scissors. I could it could be related to, and they all say like, hey, this is a blockchain game because we're somehow utilizing a token. And so I think the biggest solution to what Fidgety Rat is posing is number one, the first thing that has to come out of any game is the dynamics and the game itself. Before blockchain is even integrated, before blockchain is even thought of within any given game on Ergo Games, people need to start developing games for the sake of the game. I grew up with a NES system and a Super Nintendo and an N64 and a PlayStation and all those games. And I mean, part of the reason those games thrived so well, and a lot of the games are still playable today, is because of the amount of work people put into the gameplay, the dynamics, the story. And without that, games are just, I mean, you can't even call them games. And then when you integrate a blockchain to it, and a lot of these games that we see on the internet right now that integrate blockchain, it's like the most minimal thing you can do to integrate blockchain because it is very easy to create a token. And so anybody can go out there, create a token, and say, hey, this is, part of our game. And so people will do that. And just it doesn't work. And so the secondary part of that is after the game can dynamically be created, something, a good product can be created. The secondary thing that developers need to think about is tokenomics because I've seen, and probably a lot of you have seen games that go from nothing to everything and then shut down in within a span of a week because the tokenomics are so poorly made. And so the biggest thing for me has been researching and looking at failures and successes in the gaming ecosystem as far as blockchain gaming. I think I actually wrote an article about this. If you guys, and I'll link this at the very end. If you guys have read my Medium articles, I wrote a big article about how there's so many nuances to tokenomics that can create either success or failure within a game, and so I looked at games like what is it called, Crypto Blades, and that's a pretty low level game. It's pretty much rock paper scissors, and they were almost too successful because people started making $40 a day after investing $10, and then those people got in early, and then the people who got in late, they lost everything because they invested thousands of dollars, and then the game token went to nothing. So tokenomics is just one of the most important things you can have after game development. So, Fidgety Rat, I hope that explains it a little bit. I could talk about that subject for hours, but I know we don't have all that time today. So, good question. Are there any more Twitter questions, Marty, that you can see?
I think so. I just want to speak to that really quickly here. With the games that we've been looking at, like Darkpool, and I'm sure the Ergo Games guys are building, it's game first, right? Like the reason you haven't seen much from Darkpool is because they've just been prototyping, and prototyping doesn't like sharing a prototype of a game isn't very interesting to an end user. It's way better once you get that game assets in and things like that. So, but the beauty of that is, they've been at it for months since I think it was like uh, November, December. They started with a 4-person team, just prototyping this game, trying to make it fun first. So that's our MO. I'm sure the same goes for you guys at Ergo Games. We want it to be fun. We want you to continue to want to play it, not just to make money, but because you enjoy it as a game. So that's like 100% the step one in our philosophy for when we build these things.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely. And so actually, you talked about um, how there's not much coming out right now from them, and I think that's where we kind of bridge the gap too with Ergo Games, because part of what we do is we will post things that are in development still, and our proof of concept plus part of the website is all for that, where developers can actually put out unfinished material with the community understanding completely, like, this is not the end result, this is just a small aspect of our game, or this is something like a dynamic that we want to kind of test out, find out if like people are actually interested in this right now. And this is kind of a sneak peek, but I love playing chess. I'm a horrible chess player, but it's still fun. And so I'm creating a chess game um, for the Ergo blockchain, pretty much, where you can use any NFT that you own, so you don't have to have like a chess NFT or anything, and that will be kind of your profile to play chess in here, and there can be some tokenized rewards. But it's not going to be a full fleshed out game. It's going to be something that I put out there to see, hey, is this something that's of interest to people? And if not, like, no wasted time on their behalf, no wasted money, just a few hours of my time building this proof of concept game. But I hope that will help bridge a little bit of this like silence from or not silence, but less input from dev teams. And this will also be a space where dev teams can put updates, what they're doing, um, and just pretty much make it a very social aspect of game development. Because I think a lot of times as developers, like, I will get stuck in my room where I literally am working 8 hours straight on code and don't think of anything else, and time flies very quickly, which is cool. But at the same time, you need that marketing aspect, and that's part of the reason I have Chris here on the marketing team, is because he bridges that gap too with social media. I'm horrible with social media. Whenever people tell me to like create something or um, like post something, it's like really bad, and he helps me make sure that that looks good, and so he bridges that gap as well.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's just really important to vet a lot of these projects. Because once again, there's so many people who are just trying to make a quick buck, and this is a way for both the community to gauge what's going on with their project, as well as us talking to their development team. So we know that they're legit. You know.
Yeah, and that's a huge one, right? Just talking with developers, because I think you get a much better sense either having a face-to-face or even in a phone call. I've had phone calls with would-be developers, and like within 5 minutes, I can tell like, okay, well they either don't know what they're doing or they're just looking for a quick buck. And like that's not what we want on our platform. We want to make sure that the games that are being developed are number one, they are video games. They are games first, and then on the secondary role, they have some sort of tie with Ergo blockchain, whether it's tokenomics, fungible tokens, or NFTs, or anything like that. So it's really cool that like Chris can do that. He can just talk with those developers and see what they're thinking. Cool. All right, let's go down the list here. I've missed a bunch of things here. Um,
Do you want to answer one about why Ergo?
sure, yeah.
So we've got Lex Dissolved Brain on Twitter.
Nice.
Why did the ErgoGames.io team decide to build on the Ergo blockchain? Why not other blockchains?
Sure. So about a year ago, I got into Ergo, and it was like, I don't know, probably a random Reddit post or something. And I'm like, all right, well, this looks like a cool opportunity. I can make a few bucks here, double my money really quick or whatever. And I think I got in around 13, $14, and it jumped up to 18, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in the money. And then it went down to 5, and I'm like, oh shit. But during that time, the span of 8, 9, maybe like 6 to 8 months, the amount of community involvement and the positivity that came from developers from every single aspect of Ergo just like blew my brain, because coming from like working and looking at like Binance and Ethereum, it was cutthroat. I mean, people, number one, did not share what they were doing. People did not want to help each other out unless it was for money. And I came into this ecosystem, and one of the first people that I worked with was Hazy One Kenobi. I don't know if he's on the stream here, but he helped us out with getting Ergots, the NFT, to be launched. And one of the first interactions I had with him was, it was Halloween, and I was freaking out because our Generation Zero was about to drop, and back then I had no idea what the hell I was doing on the blockchain, and I was trying to mint 300 NFTs like really quickly, and the only way you could do it was on the auction house, and all my transactions kept failing, and I had all these issues, and he just came up to me and he's like, "Hey, let me help you. Like, I don't want money. Like, I don't care. I just want to make sure that you're taken care of." And like, my first instinct was like, okay, this guy's gonna scam me. Um, he's gonna ask for my seed, or ask for he's gonna ask me to push a link or something, because that's all I experienced in every single blockchain. I experienced people trying to screw you over to make $1, and it's like, it felt bad. And then every single person that I've talked to on the Ergo blockchain, whether it's in Discord or Telegram, as long as it's not a bot or somebody just trying to make a quick buck again, has been extremely positive, extremely helpful, and wanting to make sure that the ecosystem is growing, because I think the general sentiment is like, we help each other out now, and we gain from that. We don't need to be cutthroat. We don't need to hold everything close to our chests, because we understand that like we're all at beginning here. I mean, Ergo has so much potential. It's already growing exponentially, and like when I first joined the Reddit forum, there must have been like 5, 6 thousand people, and now we have 20,000 people in there, and just the positivity. So positivity. So that's the reason I chose Ergo, because of that. And number two is because their documentation is great. Been able to use their API and use their Node API to um, actually do things like mint tokens without having to go through the auction house. So just being able to work with Ergo as a blockchain, and then, but 95% of it is just the community. And I just gotta shout out all my goats on our Ergo Discord, because I mean, those guys, every single day we chat, and every day we the community is amazing. We've donated I think 8 goats now, Chris. Is that right? 8 or 10?
Yeah, Aiden, I think we've donated through other organizations
Yeah.
as well.
So like,
Yeah.
part of it's like the charity aspect, and people are like super down with that. Like we've donated goats to third world countries, like to farmers, and like this isn't about just us, and that's been the coolest aspect of Ergo. So that's kind of a long-winded answer, and I could probably go on more about that.
I can give a really quick technical one.
Yeah.
If you have ever worked with any EVM chain, so Ethereum, Binance, Smart Chain, Solana, anything based on EVM, you know when you go and you want to trade tokens or you want to interact with a smart contract, you have to first approve that smart contract. And what you're doing there is you're allowing that smart contract to go into your wallet and take tokens out. And it's like there's so many exploits built around that one function, and that's a base function in EVM. And Ergo does not have that. It's UTXO. So, when you do interact with a smart contract, you send those assets in, and those are the only assets that go to that smart contract. So it's right off the bat, it's way safer, and there's no gas fees. So it's like, from a technical standpoint, it's just phenomenal. So, and there's so many more things I could say to that, but I just wanted to give that quick one there.
Yeah, that's great. And I'm just thinking like the gas fee thing is huge for new folks, I think especially because when I first got into NFTs about a year ago and like paying 40, 60, I think I paid up to $100 in gas fees on Ethereum and it pained my freaking heart. Like I mean, I've made some money with NFTs and I've lost money, but like when you pay $100 in gas fees, I mean, when you equate that to like what you could get in life, like that's filling up your mega SUV like 4 times, maybe less nowadays with the gas costs, but um, that's a lot of money for just a transmission, you know. So being able to do that on Ergo for like 0.001 cents is just amazing. It's been awesome. Um, no one reading the comments. Laugh out loud. Looks like it's a pre-recorded AMA. Okay, well this is not pre-recorded. It's live. We're just reading Twitter right now, so but we can come back to the Ergo. I mean the YouTube here. It's so boring. Add romantic background music, sir. No, thank you. Okay. Um, let's see. Let's get some questions on here. RNK, are you guys planning to become more sort of game publisher for on-chain games? So. If you guys, we can post this too. It's on our Discord. Our white paper on Gitbook explains a lot of this. So we have 5 main aspects of Ergo games, and so number one is building those games, building these games. And the reason we want that to be number one is because we look at these huge gaming platforms like Steam and Epic Games, and like Epic Games is such a good example because they took a game that I don't particularly like, but they created Fortnite, or they at least they own Fortnite, and they make all their money off of that. They make tens of millions of dollars off of Fortnite, and because of that, they can undercut Steam and they can undercut almost anybody with selling their games. And so they use that as their launch pad in order to do other things for extremely cheap or free, as in give out more games. And that kind of steamrolls and allows them to just keep developing. So I don't even remember what the question was. Game publisher. Okay, yeah. So we will be publishing games with that aspect in mind in order to make the monetary portion is going to come from that, but then all other aspects of Ergo games is going to be it's going to be built to educate people, to make sure that the ecosystem is still growing. And I think I put this in our project proposal. Part of the reason we want to do this education is to create we want other organizations to come up and be kind of our competitors, because when we have competitors, that means that the space is growing. You look at like Elon Musk, and he put out a bunch of free info about batteries. He's looking for competition because he understands that when these larger entities or even just smaller entities grow, it's going to help the ecosystem as a whole. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. We're going to be building our own games, but we're also going to be expanding on other fronts that might not necessarily make a lot of money, or might even lose us a little bit of money. Like the education is definitely going to be a loss, not that much, but we're not looking to make money on that front.
Yeah, Elon released his patents, didn't he?
Yeah, at least for the
He said,
battery packs.
build this and compete with me, right? And that's the beauty of open source too. I mean, everything we've built so far, like the staking contract, the vesting contract, you can just go clone our repo and run that yourself. You could fire up your own project. So, you know,
Yeah.
that's, and the same idea for Ergo Games.
Yeah, and like a huge shout out to like Sky Harbor. I mean, they were able to partly the reason they were successful in launching is because they had access to all this open source material. And I'm sure they've built a lot of stuff on their own. I mean, of course their UX and UI is just friggin' amazing, but having this open source material helps development and helps the ecosystem as a whole. Let's see. I'm like way behind on these questions here.
We got one from Dom F.
Yeah.
Are there any games or game concepts you see as successful on other blockchains that you'd like to see develop on Ergo Games?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. NFT. I love NFTs when it comes to utility, and I think utility can come in many different aspects. Utility can come in aspects like Axie Infinity, how each of their monsters is an NFT, and I think that's great. So I think Ergo has a huge opportunity there where we can use NFTs as a huge part of gaming, and I think that helps users really feel integrated into the blockchain as well by owning an NFT. So I think the most successful types of games on any given blockchain should include some sort of NFT aspect. It should include that NFT being something that users can see, that they can trade actively, that they can use within the game. Because when there's no utility tied into an NFT or even a fungible token, the the game aspect of a video game is kind of gone. So I look at Axie Infinity, and they've done a lot of things that are kind of like not great, and they're getting larger, and they have to think about different things that say smaller organizations don't have to think about. But the things that they do really well on are using NFTs as the platform for building their game and making blockchain integration actually have a utility instead of just being, you click a button and if you win something, you get tokens. And I think that's a pretty pathetic way of building a game, especially on the blockchain.
I think a good way to do it is or to think about it is, it's cool. Like, in a lot of traditional games, you can get in-game items that have value in the game, but there's no way for you to really take that out of the game and transfer it to somebody. Let's say, you know, well, you know what I mean. Like if you got a really cool piece of armor in an RPG or like anything like that, right? The beauty of NFTs is they take those in-game items and they let you interact with a secondary market outside of the game, and it prevents the developer from removing that item from you, or it totally gives you ownership of everything that you've earned in game. And I think that's the beauty of it. Like, it's sort of what the purpose of blockchain is. The game is still going to be run on a server. It's still going to be mostly just a Web 2 interaction. But the in-game items and things like that, you'll actually own and you'll be able to trade, which is cool. And same with the currency. Um, you can't take gold out of Diablo or World of Warcraft or whatever and just go sell it outside of that game. So it gives you a little bit more ownership.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think that ownership creates buy-in too for any given game, allowing users to want to be in the ecosystem. And like thinking about Diablo, like Diablo 3 had a really good marketplace come out initially, and then there were a lot of issues. But at the same time, all those items were not, they were just pieces of code that could disappear. And I'm thinking back, I used to play Team Fortress 2 a lot, and Chris did too. And we used to buy and collect hats because that was the in-game. It's not a fungible token, non-fungible token, but it was kind of like an NFT where you can get these unique items. And I got scammed out of a couple $100 of hats some point because there's no system of like being able to sell them besides using some, sketchy, just finding a person and selling it to them. And so this gives us such an opportunity to use programs, organizations like Sky Harbor, and we've already chatted with them just initially about like, hey, what would it look like to have a secondary part of Sky Harbor be exclusive to like game item trading? Because a large part of it, like, I don't want to see on Sky Harbor 10,000 items just be thrown onto their front page because it doesn't look good and it's inundated. But having a secondary part of their project, I think, would be really interesting to have a secure area to trade and sell and buy items within game. And that's a secondary thing that we were talking about, somehow making a trading system where you can trade an item for an item versus just selling and buying with tokens. So that's something that we're in talks with, and that's something hopefully that will come to fruition in the next year or so. Let's see. Let me go back here. Oliver asks, what type of games are more fitting to use? Oh, I think we talked about this, right? We talked about the types of games already. I think MMOs can be good too. I think there are a lot of MMOs that are coming out right now. I think Hash Rush is one, Ember Sword is another, and a lot of these MMOs also use NFTs, like land NFTs, which I think is a great concept. I think you have to use them sparingly, and you have to use them in a way that makes sense for players to actually own. Uh, Axie Infinity also has land, but right now there's no utility for it, and I don't think there's even gameplay for it. They're planning on doing that, but and here's one negative thing with Axie Infinity, because for a lot of things that they do right, one tough thing with their NFTs is like there is an unlimited supply essentially of their monsters, their Axie monsters, and you know I guess there's kind of a way to say that there's not unlimited. Like you have to breed your monsters, and that costs money, and they burn tokens, and this and that. But essentially, there's just unlimited. And whenever you do that, the market gets flooded, and you either have a token that's extremely inflated, depreciated, or you have to like change game aspects, and that's what they're doing right now. They're like nerfing certain characters, and that just screws over people with NFTs. So I think even an NFT which is non-fungible and it's supposed to be worth X amount, or at least the developer shouldn't have a way to like screw you over if you own an NFT. I think there can still be that aspect. So developers have to be really cognizant of like how they put out their NFTs and how they tweak their game in order to make sure that their players are still getting full utility and full value out of the things that they've invested in.
Actually, I have another point for you.
Yeah.
I think with Ergo games we could bring a lot of attention by creating like competition and tournaments based on the blockchain. For example, what I missed something I played like earlier. For example, when I play Counter Strike or games like this, I always I had a feeling that I missed something like betting on someone. Like if I watch two players playing a game, like I can bet my money on them. Or for example, me as a content creator, I can create a pool and create a tournament where my community member can join and play. And through a smart contract, the prize pool will be, for example, distributed automatically. Like those things, I can bring mass adoption to your platform, but as well as for the Ergo ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the aspect of having smart contracts is incredibly important because it's immutable. Like it's just you do this and you get that. And being able to do that with video games, especially online, is incredibly important. I just bring it back to Diablo because I remember Chris and I used to play Diablo 2 back in the day, and all these like hackers came in at one point and like could steal your shit and could like transform your character into an like just something, and you pretty much your account got screwed forever. But by having smart contracts and being very transparent about what's occurring in game and how items are being transferred, I think that's going to be incredibly important. But I love the idea and aspect of being able to like bet and do all these different things. And I think there are organizations on Ergo right now that could definitely be integrated into that sort of thing. I think Night Owl is a definite opportunity for that sort of thing.
Amazing, thank you.
Okay, so let's give out another NFT here. Did you guys have an NFT that you guys were gonna give out?
Yeah, we can give away one of the Ergo mascot NFTs. We've got the Rocket Boy mascot.
Hell yeah. All right. So
I'll
how?
drop.
Yeah. Let's. How do you want to give it out? You want to just have somebody ask a question? You want to do a random number draw?
I mean, yeah. Can we draw from who's in the
Yeah, I think
stream right now? We've got.
I don't even know how to see everybody in the stream. Participants. Okay. No, it only shows 3 participants in my
I
stream.
see 21 watching now. So
How about this? How about I just
Did Oliver won already an NFT?
yeah, we're gonna send Crypto Boy who asked on Twitter. So let's just do a random number. I'm just gonna think of a number between, this is very esoteric, 1 and 100, and you guys can put out a number, and in about 20 seconds I'll throw the number out there, and whoever's closest will get it. So go ahead if you wanna throw a number out
in the
there.
chat,
Yeah, just throw it in chat. Throw a number between 1 and 100, and I will just pick a random.
there's only 15 of these Rocket Boy NFTs, so I think I can drop one of the images.
And then whoever wins, you can just DM me.
I'll just send it. There we go. There they are. Oh, I guess there's a delay in our voice.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
like a 15-second delay, so I'll let it run for a few more seconds. I already have the number picked.
Did you write it down so they know you're not lying?
I mean, I have it in chat. All I have to hit is enter, and then that's the number.
Okay.
All right, I'll give it 10 more seconds. It looks like things have calmed down. Let's see how close people got here.
I think the number with 7 wins.
No. Let's see. There's one person within 10. There's one person within 10. Oh, there are 2 people within 10, I think. All right.
We can give out 2. We'll do 2 then.
Hell yeah. All right, here's the number. Boom, 33. All right, so it looks like the closest winners is Roy with 23 and Oliver with 43, I think. I'm trying to look through here. Do all this blockchain gaming and programming, and the best I can come up with is pick a number.
Pick a number.
Whatever. All right. Well,
Hey, simple's good sometimes.
yeah, I know. All right. Well, congrats to you two, Roy and Oliver. You guys are our NFT winners for that. So just, I guess, shoot. I hope you guys. I think you guys are on our Discord. So just shoot me a DM, and we'll get your wallets and get you those NFTs. All right, let's do it. We got, we've been streaming for about 50 minutes, but I think we can have a few more minutes here. If you guys have to take off, feel free to take off. I got a lunch date a little bit later today, but
Yeah, we got a few more minutes.
Yeah.
Probably go for 1 hour.
yeah, we can just go till the hour mark. That's fine. What Discord here? I'll throw the Discord out so people can get in. There's like 1 million people in our Discord.
Did anyone have any other questions before we wrap up?
Yeah.
We're getting close to the end here. If you want to drop them in the chat, or we can go to one from Twitter, I guess.
Yeah, I'm going to Twitter here. Let's see. Nice project to be support. Thank you. Yeah, and again, thank you for those who are patient with our Discord and Telegram, because that has been a shit show. And we're either gonna create a new Discord and Telegram and just like burn down the old one, or we're gonna somehow figure out a way to get people out of there. I mean, they'll eventually stop talking once, they realize not every single person's gonna get $1 million from joining. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, hundreds of crypto games have already been made and released, making the market very more saturated. In what way can Ergo Games help games to be showcased on the platform to stand out from the crowd? So, a metaphor that I've been kind of like thinking in my head for a while here is like, you look at the larger crypto market and crypto ecosystem as the ocean, and you have these like tankers in the ocean, and you have these like huge boats and fishing boats in the ocean that are like the staples, like Axie Infinity and all these other games. And people, like, I've had a few criticisms where they're like, well, there are so many games, like, how the hell are you going to compete against all these fishing boats, all these things out there? But then you got to think like, okay, Ergo is a lot smaller, and we're not looking to, we have a nice little, rowboat or nice little yacht, right? A mini yacht, and we're not looking to go out in the ocean. We're looking to stay in this pond, and this pond is still expanding. Like this pond is getting more and more water, but like I don't care about the ocean right now. I care about what we have in a community. And heck, and yeah, if we can start pulling in some of those people from, the ocean that are like, man, this space is so saturated and I can't get anything done in Ethereum. And I'm just trying to think like when Chris and I first were trying to put out an NFT, we put out an NFT on Ethereum, and it doesn't matter how good your product is because the space is so inundated with projects, and whether it's good or bad, that you're not going to be seen. It doesn't matter. So having a smaller ecosystem in this sense is amazing. You have the opportunity to be seen. You have the opportunity to build without like having a deadline or constant criticisms from people who are just looking for a dollar. So I think that's another reason like why we are building on Ergo. It's because again the community is in this state right now where you can expand without having to compete with these big fish, big ships in the ocean, and having a small boat can be effective, can be really effective. And so I don't worry about the saturation in like Ethereum or Binance because we're not competing against them, and we're building something here. But the second part of the question is how can we showcase it? So like on our website right now, we haven't had much time to update it just because we've been working really hard on several different things. But we'll be coming out with weekly updates or even more than that to showcase different games and allow people to see like snapshots into what games are about, what they do, gameplay, videos, and right now like when you click on a game on our website, it doesn't show you like screenshots or videos, and but that's something that we're planning on integrating, and hopefully we can integrate other parts of the Ergo ecosystem into our game. Um, yeah, so I hope that answers that. I'm gonna just quickly answer a few of these other ones here. How do you stay up to date with latest games and software trends? What are the most challenging issues of game design? So, how do I stay up? Well, I mean, I try to be on like Reddit forums looking at different games. I try to play as many games as I can. Not that I have time because I'm a father and I right now I work a part-time job, but I will hope. Well, I've already resigned from it with the hope that Ergo Games will be explosive, which so far it has been, which is awesome. Um, but yeah, just trying to play as many games as possible. I mean, sometimes I get in a rut because I love RimWorld. I play the game RimWorld. I have thousands of hours on there, and like I just get stuck playing that. But I try to get out there and play different games that are really popular, and like popular games sometimes only last a month or two. So you have to be able to sift through that and see like what's something that's going to last for a long time. And then what's the most challenging issue of game design? Well, there are a lot of different issues. One big one is working out bugs and working with little sleep. Because I've been doing this on, not during my work hours. I've been working from when my kid goes to bed around 8 p.m. till midnight every night. And trying to work out a bug when you're lacking sleep is probably the hardest thing I've ever done because the next day I'll wake up and be like, oh my God, this was a 5 minute solution and I worked on it for 3 hours last night. Um, but as far as game design goes, I think building a strong uh, designed game as far as like how does your game run? How does it work? What are the dynamics? What makes a game interesting? I think that's really difficult to do, especially when people throw together games. So that's been something that I've been working, especially with pen and paper, just like charting out like what is how do you make a game interesting and studying games. Like it's boring sometimes because I'll go and play video games to learn understand the dynamics behind what's going on in the game and like why is this game interesting and like writing it out. So that's part of it.
Just before we wrap up, I just want to touch on one question that's pretty relevant. AMG for Life asked, I'm currently staking my ErgoPad. Will that help me get a spot for the IDO? So how that works is there's going to be three contribution rounds. The first one will be specifically reserved for people who stake in the ErgoPad tiers. So if you go to the ErgoPad website and check out staking, there's a tab that says tiers. You can check and the first one will be you have to stake at least 25,000 ErgoPad tokens. So if you do that and you sign up for the whitelist at the bottom of the page for the staker round, that'll reserve your spot in the staker round. There's also a seed round and a strategic round. We have yet to determine exactly how many you'll need to stake to get early access to the first come first serve forms. I think Andy, we're going to reserve some spots for some of the NFT holders that got in early to your project. Is that right?
Yeah, we're gonna try to get that aspect down in the next few days here. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll chat about
We'll
that.
release that info, yeah. So that info will be more laid out clearly shortly. But yeah, definitely, if you stake more than 25,000 ErgoPad tokens, make sure you go sign up on the whitelist for the Ergo Game Staker round. That's what you need to do to reserve your spot for that round.
Sweet. AMG also asks, where can we buy Erg NFTs? I'm guessing. I think you're talking about like like the picture NFTs, and those can all be bought. Like there are two good places: the Ergo Auction House. I think it's ergoauctions.com or .org, and then skyharbor.io
Yeah.
is like the gold standard right now for all NFTs, and they're doing an awesome job. Um, let's do this. I have one more tweet here that I'm actually going to give out. I have one more Ergot NFT to give out, and this is for Bento. Um, for our final question, at least from Twitter. Oh, before I do that though, Leximon asks why is your nickname lgmeister? So this this comes from actually middle school where I built my handle, and if you see my profile picture on our Ergo Games Gitbook, I'm playing the trombone, and my band director back then, his initials were LG, and we like worshipped the guy, and we for whatever reason we thought he was the drummer for Paul McCartney's band because he kind of looked like him, and we worship the dude. So I took his last name as a handle because we like the dude, and it just stuck forever, and I don't want to change it. So that's why I call myself LG Meister. So it's kind of a tribute. Okay, so last question from Bento from Twitter. He asks, "Can you give us any juicy hints at upcoming games? Thanks." So I don't want to speak for any other people's games. I know Darkpool is going to be coming out with a little bit more info, and we're super excited about that. We're going to be putting out a little bit more information about their project as they come out with info. But I'll talk about a little bit with us. So DigiGoats right now is in alpha. It's closed alpha. We're going to be reopening that alpha in the next week or so as development continues. And then the big game that we're going to be coming out in the next year and a half is called Monster Pub Brawl. And what that pretty much is well, I look back at my childhood and a few games. One of the biggest games that influenced me was Pokemon back in the day, and I think Pokemon has kind of skewed off the track of what they've started off with, and so we're going to kind of bring in a how do I say this? That's an alcoholic spin into Pokemon, and we're going to be building a game where you're able to battle monsters in a semi-real-time scenario. Each monster will be an NFT, and we're going to have tons of more. We're going to have tons of information coming out as we introduce the project in an official capacity. We'll have some artwork, some initial artwork come out, and things like that. So, but that's going to be extremely fun. That's going to be something that we are building long term, so that won't be a quick 1 month turnaround or anything like that. But as we build out Monster Pub Brawl, we'll be putting out a lot of information about that in the next few weeks, months, years. Oops. I don't know how I did that. There we go. All right, well, it's just the hour here, hour mark. I've talked a lot. My finger really hurts because I left push to talk on, and I've just been holding it on the push to talk the whole time. But I really appreciate. I want to give a big shout out, number one, to my secondary lead Chris here, and then to the entire ErgoPad team. They have been working with us, communicating with us, just hours, every week, and just making sure that everything is going smoothly. And then a huge shout out to all our community members. It is tough right now in Discord and Telegram with all this crap that's going on, but you guys are staying strong in there, and we really appreciate the support. We really look forward to the IDO that's coming out. We're going to be pushing as much information as possible out here in the next few days and weeks to make sure that you guys stay informed. But otherwise, thank you for being on the AMA. Do you guys, ErgoPad team, do you guys have anything else to say?
Don't forget to sign up for the Staker whitelisting form.
Yep. Absolutely.
And thank you for your
All
support.
right.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
That was a lot of fun.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to sign off here, but have a great day. Have a wonderful evening wherever you are in the world. We'll try to do another AMA in the next few weeks here, especially after the IDO. But again, thank you for your support. We're really looking forward to this project, and there's just so many opportunities in the Ergo ecosystem as a whole. And especially if you want to if you want to be a part of our building video games, or just if you have a project in mind, we'd love to hear from you. Collaborations are extremely important to me. Education is extremely important to me, and we look forward to working and with everybody in the ecosystem. So, otherwise, have a wonderful day, and we will see you all soon.